Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Amazon Prime Day is back in October along with Newegg Fantastic and tons of other sales. And you can build a 1440p gaming PC for as little as $600 right now. That's right, $600. In fact, we're going to go through three builds. 1440p at $600, a mid-range gaming PC build at $1,200, and a monster $2,000 4K amazing gaming PC. Remember, if you get value out of this video, give it a like as it makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course subscribe, click that bell icon, that way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Newegg's Fantastic 2 sale from October 9th to 13th. Newegg is cutting prices on PC components, gaming laptops, pre-builds, accessories, and more. From CPUs like this i5-13600K for just $285 to motherboards like this MSI Z690 Force Wi-Fi for just $199 to SSDs like this Next Storage 2TB Gen 4 NVMe for just $97. And use Newegg's PC Builder to make sure it's all compatible. Need a gaming laptop? Use Newegg's Laptop Finder to find the right one for your budget. You don't need a membership to get amazing deals, so check out Newegg's Fantastic Sale using the link in the video description. Let's jump into that $600 1440p gaming PC build. That's right, you heard me right. You're like, Jason, how are we gaming for only $600 at 1440p with more than 8 gigs of VRAM? In fact, 12 gigs of VRAM on all of these GPUs. And the good news is that I'm putting these builds together before Prime Day, before Newegg's Fantastic Sale and all the other sales that are gonna go with it. $597.90 right now. So I want you to check out those links down in the video description. Check out what the pricing and availability is right now. Let's start off where else the GPU, and I'm gonna give you two different choices. That's right, two different choices. And I think they're going to be both great values. Let's start off with the number one bestseller GPU on Amazon right now, which is the RTX 3060 12 gigabyte. The 12 gigabyte. Do not buy the 8 gigabyte. It's basically a 3050 Ti. You don't want it. You want more than 8 gigabytes of VRAM in 2023 if you're going to spend this amount of money. And for $250 right now over at Newegg, and I'm fingers crossed this deal's still there, you can get the Zotac gaming one. And it's all white, especially for those of you who want to build an all white gaming PC out there. $249 is an insane value. Of course, our other great GPU that we can use in this build is going to be the RX 6700 XT, 12 gigs of VRAM, and it's got 50% more performance than the RTX 3060. This is an insanely powerful GPU at a great price. But last time these got down all the way down to $300, and that was with Starfield. So I'm hopeful we'll see some insane deals. Remember, check out those links. Quickly checking on the performance at 1440p, and this is running very hard to run titles at ultra settings. You can always turn it down to high to get more FPS. Let's look. The RTX 3060 right now basically hovering around 60 FPS. Again, it kind of dragged down in this 15 game benchmark by Techspot, which we'll link down in the video description, by like Hogwarts Legacy and some of the other games that just absolutely hammer your GPU. But if you turn down the settings from ultra to high, you can absolutely have a great experience around 60 FPS. And obviously titles like League of Legends, Fortnite, Valorant, those kinds of things, you're going to get tons and tons of FPS. But if you do want a massive upgrade for not that much more money, look at the 6700 XT. It basically highs roughly the 3070 or the 3060 Ti. That is insane. And remember, it's got 12 gigs of VRAM. So in games where those things run out of VRAM, it doesn't. This has got to be the best price to performance GPU that we have had in generations. So either one, honestly, you couldn't go wrong. Let's go through the rest of the platform, starting off with the CPU. Remember, when we are building a budget gaming PC, especially budget, we want to get the biggest, fastest GPU that we can afford, and then just get a CPU that's not going to bottleneck it. And that is the Ryzen 5 5500, 6 cores, 12 threads, really good gaming CPU, $99, especially good because we can use it with cheaper B450 motherboards out there. Listen, if you want to go the Intel route, the i3-1200F, about $90. The motherboards are a little bit more expensive. We did that in our Prime Day video last time, and I'll leave an alternative link down in the video description if you like that. For the motherboard, we just went with the ASUS Prime B450M-A2. It's got BIOS flashback on it. It's a decent little motherboard at $79. But there are a lot of really good value motherboards. I know Newegg's probably going to have tons of them on sale during their Fantastic Sale. We'll leave a couple linked down in the video description, but also check out our Twitter at PC Builder Jason, and check out the YouTube community page for our channel. We continue to post deals there. For the RAM, we just need RAM that's not going to bottleneck our system. That is DDR4 3200 CL16. We're just going to get 16 gigs of it for $29. $29. Totally insane how cheap DDR4 RAM is right now. For the drive, I went ahead and got 500 gigs of NVMe storage. Just get a budget NVMe drive out there. I went with the Silicon Power A60. The Team Group MP33 is also good. There's tons of good budget drives out there. I will say, however, this is one area, if you have a little bit more money, for like $15 more, you could get a full 1 terabyte. That's probably where I would go. I was trying to hit that $600 price point. Otherwise, if you do have a little bit more money, dump it into an SSD. For the case, it is really hard to get away from the BitPhoenix Nova Mesh SE. This is a fantastic micro ATX case. Micro ATX case, because we're using a micro ATX motherboard. I know some people don't like the look of a micro ATX motherboard in a full-size ATX case. I keep coming back to this one, $60. 3 PWM ARGB fans in it. It's got a PSU shroud. It's got glass. It's got mesh. This is just an insane value case for $59. For the PSU, nothing special. Honestly, we're going C tier rated on the PSU Cultist list. If you don't know how to size and buy that, go ahead and check out our video on PSU buying guide from 2022. We take you through everything that you need to know. I went with the Apivia Prestige. We've been going with this one a lot because the PSU market, especially the budget end, has been really rough. $51, a little bit more than we historically like to spend. However, really good in this market, and 600 watts is going to get us what we need. So for $600, $597.90. And remember, you're going to have sales out there. Check out those links down in the video description right now. See what it's costing. We are getting an insanely performative console destroyer, not even console killer, at 1440p. Great GPU in this one with 12 gigs of VRAM. We got a great CPU, performative platform, and it looks super nice too. It looks super nice. Let's talk about a couple monitor deals. Now, honestly, we're going to keep those updated down in the video description because they come fast and furious during Amazon Prime Day. That's just the way it works. Last time, this monitor right here, this is our top recommendation for best mid-range 1440p gaming monitor, the Acer Nitro XV272U. This got all the way down to $189. I can't promise that's going to happen again, but that was an insane deal. Remember to check us out on Twitter at PC Builder Jason, or check our YouTube community page. We post these deals all the time. But this is a flat IPS panel. Even at $249 right now, this is an insanely good monitor. And honestly, it's hard to recommend anything else at this price. Let's jump into our $1,200 1440p super high FPS build. And we're targeting 100 plus FPS in all titles at 1440p in high or ultra settings. Look at that. We finished at $1,199.34, and that's all pre-sale. Check out those links down in the video description. See what the pricing is right now. Let's start off where else the GPU. I'm going to give you two options just like I did with the last build. Either on the AMD side, the RX 7800 XT, 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Right now, I picked out the Sapphire Pulse. It is possible to get a $499 MSRP one like by ASRock or somebody. I like the Sapphire Pulse a little bit better. I think if you're going to spend this range, an extra $20 to get a slightly more premium card isn't going to hurt you. And Sapphire does make some nice premium cards here. On the NVIDIA side, we all know that the RTX 4070 has seen some massive price cuts in the last month and a half since the 7800 XT launched. Yay competition. So look at that. The Zotac 4070, 12 gigabyte, $519. This is before the sale with the promo code there. So check out what it is right now. But the bulk of these cards are around $549 up to $600. You can see $549, $569, $599. They do get to $600 pretty quickly. Of course, you can consider the differences between them. The primary difference for me at least is the difference between one having DLSS and the other having FSR. And then of course, we've got 12 gigs on the 4070 versus 16 gigabytes of VRAM on the 7800 XT. In terms of overall performance, look at that. 7800 XT has about a 10% lead over the RTX 4070. This is a 15 game average. 1440p from Techspot. Again, link down in the video description. Check it out for individual titles to see which performs better on the titles that you play. RTX 4070, 102 average FPS, not that far behind, but the 1% low is a little disappointing, down towards 81 as opposed to the 89 for the 7800 XT. I will say if you're a bargain hunter, we may see some really good deals in the 6800 XT out there. Look at that, kind of right in between the two. So if you can find a really steep deal on 6800 XT, might be worth picking up. Let's jump into the rest of the platform. Now listen, you could, if you only have about $1,000, build this whole system around a Ryzen 5600X or an i5-12400, but I will say, it's gonna lose about 20% of the performance when you do that. So I think it's worth the extra money investing in going to a platform like the Ryzen 7600 instead. You're gonna get all that performance, you're gonna get future upgradability as well. That's why I like this. I also like the price, $216. I'm fingers crossed we're gonna see some sales around Prime Day and Newegg Fantastic Sale on this CPU. You can get the 7600X or 7600, doesn't really matter. You're just gonna turn on Precision Boost Overdrive on both of them. For the cooler, we wanna get rid of the included stock cooler with the 7600. The 7600X does not come with one, and instead go with something like the Deepcool AG400. This is a high performance tower air cooler. We could even go bigger here if you want something like the Thermalright Peerless Assassin. It's a 2-tower cooler instead. $30 though, especially with ARGB on it, I like this. For the motherboard, Newegg is just killing it with some of these motherboard deals right now. I hope we see some of these also on Amazon. Right now, even before the fantastic sale starts, the ASRock B650M Pro RS Wi-Fi motherboard that I continue to recommend, even at $150, down to $124 right now. Totally insane value. This is a great motherboard. It's got tons of rear panel connectivity to it. I know some people don't like micro ATX motherboards. I will say if you want an ATX size motherboard, they start at like $160 right now. Probably going to be some sales out there. I'll leave some alternative motherboards linked down in the video description. For the RAM, honestly, right now, given the fact that AMD has kind of solved compatibility issues with DDR5 finally in the last about 2 months or so, there's really no reason to not go DDR5 6000 CL30 or DDR5 5600 CL28. However, pricing right now is much better on the 6000 CL30 kits. They're basically the same speed. And the T-Force Delta RGB ones are only like $6 more than the non-RGB kits. So this is the one we're gonna pick up. Also comes in white if you're looking to do an all-white build. For the drive, we're gonna go with a drive with a little bit of DRAM to it. I just got 1 terabyte. You can grab 2. 2 terabytes is probably a slightly better sweet spot. I wanted to hit that $1,200 price point. But again, this is an area where you could invest like $25 or $30 more and you go 2 terabytes instead. I like the ADATA SX8200 Pro 1 terabyte right now at a $44 price point. It's got DRAM on it. It's just a nicer kind of prosumer level drive. For the case, I just went with the Montech Air 903. This is a great case. It's got 3 included ARGB fans, 140 millimeters, super high airflow on this thing. Everyone who's reviewed this absolutely blown away that they can get this case done at this price point. Honestly, what else do you need for $72? For the power supply, right now the MSI MPG A650GF seems to be on super sale everywhere. These are last gen PSUs. These are not ATX 3.0, but honestly, who cares? They are A tier rated on the PSU cultist list. That is far more important to me at least. And these are great PSUs. We've used these on a lot of builds. $89 right now for 650 watts. Yikes. So all told, $1,199.34. Again, you can save a little bit of money, maybe finding a 6800 XT deal out there, or maybe going with a cheaper 7800 XT. But even if you went with the RTX 4070, $1,199 right now, insane value for 100 plus FPS at 1440p. Let's jump into some 240 Hz 1440p gaming monitor deals. And let me tell you, there's basically 3 monitors I feel like are very, very competitive in the mid-range, and I really wouldn't look at much else. Let's start off with the one that's actually the best price, non-sale price. That is the MSI G274QPX 27-inch 1440p 240 Hz. This is flat IPS, and it was recently introduced to the market by MSI at $379, and that's the MSRP. That is an insanely low price for this monitor. I'm excited to see what sales can do. Honestly though, if you're trying to decide between this and the other 2 monitors I have on tap for you, just go with the cheapest one. The features are really that similar. I want to throw in the other 2 because sale prices have been pretty insane. In fact, this monitor, the HP Omen 27QS, again, 27-inch flat IPS 240 Hz monitor. This monitor's been on sale for as low as $349 recently. Another one to absolutely snap up if it goes that low. And finally, the good news is the Gigabyte M27Q-X, the original kind of budget 1440p 240 Hz monitor that really took the world by storm and sold out forever, is finally back in stock. Now, unfortunately, it's up at $449 before sale prices kick in. However, just keep your eye on this one just in case there's a huge flash sale on it. Let's jump into that $2,000 4K Ultra Gaming PC. That's right, ultra gaming at 4K. We're looking for 100 plus FPS across a large suite of titles. Obviously, if you turn that down to 1440p, you'll get insane levels of FPS if you want it. I finished out at $1,982.91, and I feel like we went with pretty premium parts across the board on this one. If you wanted, you could do it a little bit cheaper. Remember, these are all pre-sale prices. Check out what it's going for right now. Links down in the video description. Let's jump into the GPU, of course. And I'm going to give you two choices. Of course, I'm going to give you two choices. The first one's the RX 7900 XTX. 24 gigs of VRAM, 24 gigs of VRAM. Right now, it's selling, even before the sales, $899. And we saw during the last fantastic sale and Prime Day sales back in July, that GPU dipped well into the 800s. So you could probably pick up a really, really good deal. It's going to face off against a slightly more expensive GPU in the RTX 4080. Right now, the Gigabyte Eagle model is $1,089, basically $1,100. It's basically $200 more. And just remember, we did not really see any price cuts from NVIDIA last time in terms of Prime Day. I don't necessarily expect to see it, although I have been waiting for the 4080s to drop a little bit. Maybe this is the opportunity. Looking at the Techspot RTX 4070 review, so relatively fresh data at 4K. At 4K, look at that. The 7900 XTX slightly outperforms the RTX 4080, but honestly, you're going to get a super nice experience playing either one, well over 100 FPS for either GPU. Flipping it down to 1440p, 183 average FPS for the XTX, and basically the same level of performance for the RTX 4080. Again, absolutely insane levels of performance for either one of these GPUs. For the rest of the platform, we don't necessarily need to go with the Ryzen 7 7800X3E, but honestly, for $350, this is even before all the sales, $350, the 7700 is going for $329. I don't know why you wouldn't find an extra 20 or 30 bucks and go 7800X3D. I think AMD is trying to get ahead of the launch of 14th gen Intel, which we are expecting sometime very, very soon. And right now, this is super performative CPU, basically the highest level of performance from a gaming CPU, and at $350, it's just absolutely impossible to beat. Now for the cooler, we could go with an air cooler for like 40 bucks, but I decided to kind of bling up the build a little bit. Let's go with something a little bit nicer. I love the Deepcool LS520, the white version on this. There's also the SE. I'm not as big on the SE. It doesn't have some of the nice features that this one does for only about $15 or $20 more. This is a super quiet, looks amazing. You can get white or black. Actually, the white one's a little bit more expensive, $109, really, really good performance. For the motherboard, I decided to go with something that's got premium audio on it, basically a premium tier of motherboard out there. You certainly could go with some of those cheaper boards that we've looked at for the lower level builds for like $125 up to $170, but I decided to go with the MSI Mag Tomahawk Wi-Fi on it. It's got ALC upgraded audio on it, and it's also got plenty of rear panel connectivity, comes with Wi-Fi, just an overall nice little motherboard for $219. Again, fingers crossed for some sales. For the RAM, we've already especially gone over the RAM. I will say that if you can save a little bit of money on the RAM, for the 7800X3D, it's just not as RAM sensitive. That being said, you're not saving that much money. I would definitely still get a DDR5 6000 CL30 kit and the T-Force Delta, again, the white one, the black one, it doesn't matter. RGB for $92, 32 gigs of RAM. For the drive, I went with the XPG SX8200 Pro. Again, it's just on mega sale right now. $80 for 2 terabytes, great deal. And again, if you want to spend money anywhere, I think getting 2 to 4 terabytes of space, depending on how much you feel like you need, great return on your investment. For the case, I love the Montech Sky 2. We're going to put that 240 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler top mounted. It comes with 4 ARGB fans on it. I think this is a great case, especially for new builders. Tons and tons of airflow, and it's only $99 right now, $99. For the PSU, I went ahead and went with a slightly more expensive 1000 watt Fantex amp. This is an A-tier rated PSU. And I got the white one because it comes with all white cables, including white plastic connector bits, which is really nice. So we save a little bit of money by not going with like a PSU extension kit. And for $139, we get a great PSU. If you want to do an all black version though, you could definitely find a different PSU for about $120. That's $1,000 and is also either B tier or A tier rated. So all told, for $1,982, again, if you want to go less premium on this, you could probably shave off quite a bit of cost. For the 7900 XTX build, add $200 for the RTX 4080 build if you want to go that direction instead. You're going to get one of the most performative gaming PCs on the planet right now, on the planet. Let's round it out with the best 4K gaming monitors and TVs, because I honestly think if you're looking for OLED, that's where you're looking. But let's start off with gaming monitors, Gigabyte M28U, and actually the newly introduced M27U. It's just exactly what it sounds like, 27 inch instead of 28 inch. Slight other differences to it. These continue to be great values, and they continue to instantly go on sale. Every time there's an excuse to put on a sale, you see the Gigabyte M28U on sale. Right now at $499, not a bad price for this monitor, but I do expect it to go lower. If you are looking for OLED, there's a number of 1440p offerings out there. However, some of them not having the best reviews in terms of long-term customer satisfaction. So I find myself coming back to the LG C2 OLED. Honestly, 4K, 120 hertz. We game on this all the time. I absolutely love it. We had the C1 OLED. We love that. We now have the C2 OLED. The HDR is absolutely incredible. $999 for the 42 inch. This is a deal, and it often goes on sale around events like this. Remember, everything is linked down in the video description. Check that out for pricing and availability and deals in your region. And if you got value out of this video, give it a like, as it makes a huge difference to the channel, especially this guy right here. And of course, subscribe, click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. Speaking of cool content, did you check out our Best RAM for Gaming 2023 video? We just released it. It goes through everything that you need to know to get the best RAM, including clearing up all kinds of crazy misconceptions. And we'll catch you on the next one.